First they trade Nino to Winnipeg. Then they trade Tanner Jeannot over to Tampa. I don't care right now about the big holiday gun return. It still hurts to see the ox leave the herd. And now they trade Matthias over to Edmonton? What's next? Oh my God, where's my hat? Did it get traded too? Johnny's gonna kill me. Hey bud, you left your hat at the door. What are you doing? You weren't gonna shoot the fan reaction video without me, were you? Never mind. Preds lose 3-1 in a hard-fought game versus the Pittsburgh Penguins Tuesday night inside Bridgestone Arena. Now just 3 days until the NHL trade deadline. Okay, let's back things up just a little bit. After the craziness that was Saturday with Nino going to Winnipeg and Sunday with Tanner Jeannot going to Tampa, I gotta admit, because of his longevity, Mattias Ekholm has been with the Preds since being drafted in the 4th round in 2009 in the 4th round. This one's gonna hurt quite a bit because he was such a solid piece of that core 4 on the blue line when he helped get this team to the Stanley Cup final in 2017. Other changes, along with Matthias being gone now, include Cal Foote making his debut in a Preds uniform, and with Tanner Jeannot being gone, news of a big call-up from a favorite admiral who's been developing really well. Luke Evangelista makes his debut wearing number 77 in the Preds lineup in this game. Seeing as this is my second video of the night, and once again, like Sunday, that gives me a lot of work, so I have to trim things down. I'm going to skip ahead to the third period. After all, there was no scoring in the first period. The Preds outshot the Penguins like gangbusters 17-9, but couldn't get anything past Tristan Jarry. And then there was the second period when it was the Penguins' turn to act like gangbusters, and the Preds sat back a little too much, but props to them for not allowing the Penguins to score a goal, as the Penguins outshot the Preds 17-5 after 2 periods. Which one of these two teams was going to blink first? And then there was the third period where the Penguins only outshot the Preds 8-3. Yeah, they must have been tired at this point. This team has been through a lot these last 4 days, and this team is getting younger, a little bit more inexperienced, wet behind the ears, so they're not used to it. Knowing that shot total of 8-3, if you hadn't watched the game, you might think, oh, well, maybe they'll go all the way to overtime. But for those who would also guess that, yeah, with that much in shot, that the Penguins would win the game there. But you'd be surprised to know that the Preds actually scored first. Almost 7 minutes into the game, play is in the Penguins zone. They're trying to clear. And let me set this up. A man who started the season in Milwaukee. Then he gets called up by the Preds in Calgary and scores his first goal of the season against a team that drafted him and gave up on him. And then he stuck around. But then he got sent down so that Tommy Novak could play in his place. And Mark Jankowski had to be put on waivers because he wasn't exempt. And he cleared waivers. And he kicked butt back down in Milwaukee. So he proved that he deserved to be called back up again. And he was the one that gave the Preds the 1-0 lead against the Penguins. Now remember, longtime Preds fans will know this. Maybe if you're a recent convert to Preds hockey because of the success of the late 2010 Preds teams, you will know. Game 6, June of 2020. The Preds should have been up 1-0 late in the game if not for a blind ref who didn't see that the puck was loose when Colton Sissons banged it home past Matt Murray. But maybe this was redemption. The Preds were up clear 1-0 on the Penguins. Oh, and then Sidney Crosby gets a breakaway in the latter half of the third period and ties this game at 1. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. This game can go to overtime. The Preds can prove their worth, maybe pull the upset against the Penguins as it's getting into the last quarter of the game. And we're still tied at 1. Being outshot, not badly, but maybe the Preds can drag this to overtime. Mostly drag it because of their goalie, UC Saros, who was kicking butt again. UC Saros, who for the game, at the end of everything, would make 31 saves. And, you know, most nights in a low-scoring game, 31 saves should be pretty good. But the Preds were being outshot badly. And if you remember back in June of 2020, in a scoreless game, in a game that any goal that the Preds would score would blow the roof off of Game 6, but it was looking like it was going to go into overtime until Patrick Hornquist stabbed Preds Nation in the heart and scored with 1:35 left to go in regulation. Oh, well, you think the Penguins remember that too? Because lo and behold, late under 2 minutes left to go in regulation, bad turnover by Ryan McDonough. The Preds can't get it out. And Jason Zucker, who wasn't even on the Penguins team that won the Cup in 2017, is able to get the puck and bang it in off of UC Saros' skate into the net, giving the Penguins the 2-1 lead with 1:39 left to go in regulation. The Preds would pull Saros after giving up the go-ahead goal late. It's now all hands on deck for the Preds. They would get a great chance with just under 20 seconds left to go in regulation. It's all to fruition. It doesn't work. The Penguins finally can gasp some air as they get the puck out. Brian Rust races down the left wing board, and with 7 seconds left to go in regulation, puts this one to bed into the empty cage. Penguins win the game 3-1. Well, there you go, Preds Nation, with a lineup that is being reduced, not depleted because of injury or anything. Philip Forsberg is still out, and the longer he can stay out and rest up, it's not going to do the Preds any good to rush him back. Let him play if he's healthy. Otherwise, just let the season continue and get him 100% for next season. But as for the team, this is the most proudest I have been as a Preds fan in a while to a loss. I like the way Luke Evangelista played in his debut. He doesn't want to play in Milwaukee. He wants to be in the show. That gives this team promise moving forward. Cal Foote didn't look too bad on the blue line. That I like to see. The blue line is going to be interesting moving forward because, as I've alluded to in the trade videos, I still expect Dante Fabro to be given a fresh start and to be moved before Friday, and that should garner at least a third-round pick since he was taken in the first round. Fabro still has the tools. He can't be given away for free, heaven forbid, on waivers. We're not going to make that mistake again. Eeli Tolvanen. Yeah, Eeli Tolvanen. The way this team is right now, that guy could be used on this roster right now with the age that he's at. But we can't hammer that anymore because now he's on Seattle and he's probably going to be in a playoff matchup come next 2 months from now because, yeah, it's not technically March just yet. As for this game, Saros almost stole the show. I know this team is admitting that it's going to be a building team. It's probably not going to be a playoff team. But with Saros in net, you always have a great chance to win any game. So this team is probably going to fall into that 13-16 matchup. Maybe they'll get lucky and get lower so they have a chance to shoot up in the lottery. But if they don't, along with all the moves they'll make, stockpile some picks. And if you get multiple picks in either the second or third or fourth round in this year's draft or next year's draft, you could always couple those together and move up. So maybe you can get a guy who can only need to play one season in Milwaukee if you think he's ready, or if he's good enough, if you think a guy falls, you can put him in the show a lot sooner. Overall, though, from what I saw on the ice and what I saw on social media, this is the most optimistic Preds Nation has been in a long time. And I like this feeling, which means that we're not anymore at rock bottom, and we're not going to hit rock bottom, I don't think. We're not going to be a playoff contender, say, next year, but we're heading in the right direction. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching as always. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption. Preds Nation, it could be 2017, 2023, 2033, 2043. Look at me. I'm creating new Yellowstone seasons. No, anyways, it could be any of those years, but until the Preds actually get revenge for 2017, don't worry. I will always hate the Penguins.